Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Paulina's heart transplant. Eli's surprising call. Jada seeks leak. Days of Our Lives reveals that Chanel DiMera returned to Paulina Price's sanitarium room and thanked Abe Carver for watching her mama so she could have a shower. Abe assured Chanel that there was no place he'd rather be and offered a Vim talk about Paulina's recovery. Paulina was still resting after her angioplasty, but Kayla Johnson had some delicate updates since the scar towel could make it so Paulina would need a heart transplant. Once Paulina woke up, she made Abe promise to be there for her daughters if commodity happened to her. Abe indeed promised, but he also planned to keep Paulina by his side for a long time. At the DiMera manse on Tuesday's day's occasion, Johnny DiMera met up with EJ DiMera before Nicole DiMera joined them. That led to some talk about Paulina's heart attack as well as Johnny's marriage to Chanel. Once Johnny learned Holly Jonas was back from Italy as well, so he wondered what the coming way were. Nicole claimed that Holly was breathing on her own, so they just had to hope she'd open her eyes and smile that beautiful smile of hers soon. Johnny wanted to visit Holly, so he headed up to her room and talked about all the effects he missed, like seeing Holly with her sketchbook out and headphones on. After Johnny reminded Holly that he owed her a fencing assignment, he expressed remorse to Nicole and EJ about not being suitable to help all this. Still, EJ and Nicole assured Johnny that it wasn't his fault. Once Nicole and EJ told Holly goodnight, they turned out the light and left her alone. Holly's cutlet twitched like she was starting to come out of her coma. Back at the sanitarium on Tuesday's DOL show, Johnny met up with Chanel, who was distraught over Paulina conceivably demanding a heart transplant. Good news came soon after since Eli Grant called to say Lonnie Grant had been released. Johnny and Chanel filled Paulina in on that surprise, so she was thrilled to hear that Lonnie was out and would be home soon. At the Salem PD on Tuesday's day's occasion, Jada Hunter intruded before Everett Lynch could explain the Bobby Stein mess to Chad DiMera. Jada interrogated Chad and Everett about Lucas Horton's position getting blurted since he'd been a target on the night of the fire and Harris Michaels' takedown. Only a sprinkle of people knew where Lucas was staying, so Jada grilled Everett and Chad to determine if they might be the leak. Chad argued that Lucas was family, and Everett added that they had no reason to harm their source. Jada asked if anyone differently was in the office when Lucas called, but Everett and Chad constantly verified it was just the two of them. Chad and Everett also faced questions about their trip to Statesville to see Clyde Weston, but they maintained that it was for their story. Of course, Jada made it clear that she didn't trust a word out of Everett's mouth and kept calling him Mr. Stein, so Chad was completely confused. After Jada stepped out on Day's occasion, Everett revealed the whole Bobby situation to Chad, who blew up at him for all the fermentation he'd put Jada and now Stephanie Johnson through. Although Everett claimed that he loved Stephanie, Chad fired back that Everett didn't indeed know who he was. Jada returned to find that Chad was in the circle, so he let Jada know he was sorry for her pain. After Jada advised Chad and Everett not to leave city, Chad assured her that he wouldn't. Jada spoke to Everett alone and learned he was witnessing Ferocious Remedy with Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, so he wanted to flash back and was trying. Once Jada confessed that she was trying to forget, she said she hoped one of them got what they wanted. Jada also offered another memorial to Everett about not leaving Salem since the disquisition was ongoing. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Everett's memory charge will come with some twists and turns. Kayla's grim news, Abe and Chanel's fear of Paulina's had another heart attack? Days of Our Lives and updates tease Kayla Johnson will have some grim news for Abe Carver and Chanel Dupree. Following her thyroidectomy for cancer, tests showed Paulina Price's pain and torture were due to a heart attack. Muscle she have another? Days of Our Lives Paulina Price couldn't breathe following her thyroidectomy when she was in her sanitarium bed. Paulina couldn't breathe and was in severe pain as her upset family stood by. She was diagnosed as having had a heart attack, but now, she's passing analogous symptoms. Again, the croakers will rush in her room and they'll get her stabilized, but the news isn't good. Might Paulina have yet another heart attack and further surgery ahead when she hasn't indeed recovered from the cancer surgery? There's a distinct possibility she may have to have open heart surgery and a coronary bypass. DOL Paulina Price's former fear attacks misdiagnosed? This could have been coming on for a long time, with Paulina's partiality for ignoring important health symptoms and pushing through. When Jada Hunter's family Talia Hunter was in city, she helped Paulina through what she allowed was a fear attack. Paulina was having symptoms of a heart problem that occasionally starts out as angina, a medical condition caused by unshy blood force to the heart but can worsen. She could have been having heart issues coming on for all that time undressed, simply because she didn't get the right treatment or tests. With the stress of the thyroidectomy and the thyroid cancer, Paulina's pre-existing yet undiagnosed heart complaint has gotten worse. Days of Our Lives a serious situation. It's a serious situation for Paulina and her family, with Eli and Lonnie Grant coming to visit now that Lonnie's been released from captivity. Kayla's grim news for Abe and Chanel while Paulina is resting. Maybe heart surgery ahead for Paulina, formerly weakened by the thyroid cancer. Indeed, though, they got it all. Paulina has not been fit as a swindle or healthy as a steed for quite some time, and she's been under overdue stress for numerous months with Abe's exposure and deliverance. Her family upset, they rally around her, but Paulina's health situation is veritably serious. There may be a possibility she will survive, with her body formerly weakened. With conceivably an alternate heart attack while recovering in the sanitarium from the first one and the cancer surgery, she's got quite the road to hoe. Sarah goes on the warpath for love. Days of Our Lives show Sarah going from refusing to raise a child with Xander because he's a felonious to arguing that Xander is no miscreant and he needs to be let out of captivity to raise his child with her. Xander is on board. Justin is game. But will the most important person in this script hear? I am the law, and the law is not mocked substantiation, schmevidence. First, Sarah allowed. The lack of substantiation proved Xander didn't shoot Harris. Now, she's inversely convinced that the cornucopia of substantiation proves Xander is being framed. We hope she picks one or the other before she gets in EJ's face about it. Because, at this point, only Salem's current district attorney getting wearied with jerking Xander around is going to get him out of captivity. What's the matter with kids today? After stirring a little bit during the night, Holly wakes up from her coma. Nicole and EJ are thrilled. But we missed out. They'll be more thrilled than Teresa and Brady. Tate's parents are formally prepared to grovel before their son and supplicate his remission for daring to talk about him. However, perhaps Tate will stoop to talk to the two people who love him more than anything in the world and have done everything in their power to cover him, if they can lead with the good news about Holly. The bitterness. Ivy looked at love from both sides now. Meanwhile, Alex and Kristen get together to partake notes on how they're going to keep Teresa and Brady piecemeal, so they can keep them for themselves. Hey, perhaps they the bones. Prompting Tate to throw a fit at the idea of his parents talking about him. It's the only explanation that makes sense up to this point. Hush, little baby, do'n't you cry eventually. Stephanie is sad about Everett perhaps being a bad man. Chad pats her on the shoulder and expresses sympathy. How long do we suppose it'll be before he's got her babysitting the kiddies, now that jilting them at Doug and Julie's house is no longer an option?